I really like No Monkey's video about DMM, pointing out how they still need more steps to bring in people unfamiliar with the game mode. We could watch a No Monkey video on the Deadman mode. I'd be cool with doing that. See what he has. It's a good one. Let's see. I like No's video too, but I will say it's specific perspective of someone who does not normally play DMM. So I guess it's like, you know, it's a question of what you need both perspectives. You need perspectives from people that don't normally play DMM and people that do. I think you need both. I think, you know, it's also a question of what are they trying to get out of this too? What's the purpose of Deadman mode? Is it only to cater to PvP, or are you trying to make it a game mode that appeals to a wider audience than only those that PvP?
To YouTube.
Love it. Love it.
Has just recently dropped Deadman Annihilation, which is a temporary game mode like encouraging PvP, kind of League Z PvP vibe if you haven't seen it yet. Pretty cool. I had my fun with it for a couple days, and now I'm here to give my thoughts on it. The big thing with this Deadman is they've kind of casualified it a bit, where they've gotten rid of things like you being able to loot the other player's bank. Just stuff that makes it really hard to like approach as someone who doesn't do like PvP. The idea was that like, hey, even if you don't do PvP, this is going to be doable for you. That's really how they've been marketing it. Personally, for me, I'm a PVMer, kind of a novice to PvP, an extreme novice.
Okay, and as novice as he is, I am 10 times worse. 10 times, maybe more than 10 times worse.
First of all, if you don't know, there's things called breaches, which is I think it's 7 hours. They spawn a ton of just like random bosses, and you kill them and you get special drops that are going to help you in PvP. Emblems, supply drops, that kind of thing. And you're going to get points from killing the bosses there. And just huge amounts of players are going to these and doing them. Their big addition this time was Yama, who just spams meatballs on people that just one-shot them.
So good, man. It was
honestly,
so good.
Maybe the best addition to any Deadman ever.
The Yama, dude, look at that, bro.
The meatball, the chaos of people just like getting wiped out in droves by these meatballs dropping. Oh, it's just peak. It's just peak. It's so good. I personally felt the combat brackets were pretty well balanced. A lot of people had complaints about it. Basically, once you hit a certain combat, you're basically booted from the world. You can't get XP anymore, and you can only access the bank a few times. And then you have to go to a new world, which is a different combat bracket for you. So basically, there's different worlds for different brackets of combat. This opened up like making pure builds, different types of builds for different stuff, and just hanging out in the bracket that you want to hang out in. I had a lot of fun in the like 60 to 80 bracket.
We never made it there.
I heard the 1 through 60 bracket kind of became horrible after a few days, like just tons of pures camping everything. But personal experience, it was okay for me. I didn't hate it. For each bracket you do as well, you also get an hour of immunity, which is kind of cool. So basically no one can attack you for an hour. And it was kind of fun to like min-max that hour, figure out what the best thing to do with it is. I personally went and did barriers for an hour, got nothing, was salty about it, and then started killing people. But yeah, different people had different approaches for that. There were a lot.
Pures are still effing me. When I first started DMM, I didn't know it was a mid-breach. I TP'd through Chronicle, and the young people landed on me and killed me within 5 seconds of being in the game mode. That is so good. The chaos of the breaches was a lot of fun. I think the breaches was one of my biggest highlights of DMM.
I saw a lot of people complain about like the multi areas and they're just getting deleted everywhere by clans. I didn't really notice that many clans, maybe some small ones. I got killed maybe once or twice at Scurrius because like a clan came through and swept it. But for the most part, like a lot of the multi areas where there were a lot of people, everybody was just kind of like chill with each other, like not really attacking each other and just doing their own thing. I really didn't have a problem with like getting destroyed in multi very often. And if I noticed like a clan was camping an area, I just moved on to something else. My PvP experience was basically like running around killing like skillers doing chinchampas, people thieving wealthy citizens, going to the agility pyramid to kill people for money there, and basically just killing people who had money on them but really weren't going to fight back too much, and then occasionally having one of them fight back and have like a real fight. So some actual PvP, but for the most part just like trying to collect money and go kill people for that. I had a really fun time with it. When I stopped focusing on the points so much and the grind and more so on just having fun, killing people, making some money, I started to have a lot more fun with Deadman personally.
Yeah,
I'm going to move on from there to some of my...
look, that's a fine perspective to have, but if you're only trying to get the points, then you can't even enjoy it.
Gripes. I want to talk about the way you use points. If you don't know Deadman, basically points is the same as like League's points.
Yeah.
You use them to buy sigils, and sigils give you whatever, like instantly harvesting, like farming crops, that's a sigil. Having a tick faster attack speed on mage attacks, that's a sigil, right? So there's all kinds of different sigils that do different things. You can also use points to buy entire quest lines. So things like unlocking ancients would be a points unlock.
Me unlocking Myarchy instead of Majorat, because I thought my brain said Majorat was Myarchy. That was me not unlocking the ancients.
Unlocking Barrow's gloves is points.
Yep.
So everything useful is points, and you really, really need them. How do you get points? The obvious way, and the way everybody expected to get points, was breaches. So breaches are supposed to be 1-to-1 damage you deal is points back that you receive. So for every point of damage you deal to a boss at a breach was supposed to be a point, and that's a ton of points. Because a level up in this game mode is 5 points. A damage dealt to one of these bosses is 1 point, right? So that's a ton. That's a ton. You're getting so many points. This is way better than almost anything else. What they didn't mention is that only up to the top 16 people that deal damage to these breach bosses are going to get any point.
Which, to be fair, they remedied that just a bit later than they may have needed to.
So if you don't deal damage within the top 16, you're not going to get any points. When there is over 1,000 people at breaches, you start to see the problem.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to get points at breaches.
Now, obviously, if it was like 150, 200 mobs spawning at once, sure, you have a bunch of different groups fighting a bunch of different things. But that's not how it was, you know? You had like 300 people hitting one mob, and yeah, and 16 people are getting it. They fixed breach, but they should give everyone points, screw the top 100. Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, like, if you're there and you're putting your time into it, you should be getting something, bro. And if you have low damage, then it's just, then you're not getting as much points. So if you want more points, get higher damage, but it shouldn't be like a turn on and off switch. Top 100 is a code issue? Oh, please don't tell me that's a code issue. That's insane if that's a code issue. I mean, top 100 at this point, it doesn't really matter. I don't think the breach worlds are that, I don't think it's that like, an overwhelming amount of people now, but at the start of it, I think if you wanted to remove that cap, it would make sense.
The top 100 getting points is not that many considering how many people are at these breaches. I saw a breach like on day 1 or 2 where like I could barely move. My client was lagging so much from how many people were there. The Yama meatballs were turning invisible because there were so many people. It was like calling them out, and people were dying to like invisible.
I love the chaos.
That's how many people were there, which was
my first breach, guys, was absolutely insane. I failed it so hard, but it was so exciting. It was just like a complete like clown fiesta, and I had no clue what was going on.
What are your other options if you're not going to get the bulk of your points that way?
Level up,
anything else.
completed.
Combat achievements, regular diaries, level up your stats. All of that gives you points. Killing people? Not really. You get up to, it's 5 points per kill up to 100 kills, which is a kill on a person is the same as a level. When you're getting like 10 times XP rates, it's not great. And using the sigil that makes the clues a single step, because every clog is also points. So the best way to get points is AFK skills, raids, for combat achievements specifically. You don't care about the purples. And clues. Sounds like leagues, right? Yeah, except it's a PvP game mode. It's not very dangerous. It's quite boring, actually, doing that kind of thing for points. So
I mean, yeah, it's like boring until it's dangerous, right? And then you get PK'd and you got to run back and you got to go get points again. It's like when it is dangerous, it's not fun because you're not prepped for PvP. You're just getting killed when you're trying to go and cut logs or something.
So the fact that no one can get points through breaches just pushed everybody. At least for me, like I was like, I do not care about grinding points anymore. I'm going to stop trying and I'm just going to have fun the way I see it. Like I'm just going to go kill people and have fun. But yeah, it's just so boring to grind these points. And you need the points. Like you are not going to keep up with other people if you move up the brackets. You're going to get destroyed. People are going to...
People would boost otherwise. Farming the guild is so butt because dummies just kill you. Yeah, it's like you're trying to get points by farming. Dude, like why was the farming guild a complete crap show of getting PK'd? Like it's very punishing trying to get points from skilling when you don't have PK, viability at the time. My guess, because farming is easy levels, which equals fast points, which equals PK is killing you for seeds. Oh. But I do wonder what the alternative would be, because if you make points only available through PvP, there's going to be a lot less people playing your game, because a lot of people just wanted to get in and get out, get in, get their points, get out, because they don't want to PvP. So I don't really know of a good alternative besides breaches. Skull thresholds being so low is really stupid. It makes people chase around noobs from no money. Yeah, the sculling colors were kind of fricked, I think. They didn't really accurately showcase who had what. Points from PvP is the worst option, gets abused, and most people don't know how to PvP. Yeah, I think so. I think the only way to make it a little more entertaining is make more PVM a little more accessible early on, and then give people maybe through PVM a better way to earn points than just going and farming clue scrolls or farming or whatever else,
First of all, you log in and you get a choice of a starter sigil, like for melee, mage, or range. Very similar to leagues. Does this pop up a menu and have you pick immediately? No. The way you do this is you go into your equipment.
So confusing.
You go into your equipment tab, and up here there's a skull, and you click on that, and then it lets
so
you choose.
Confusing.
Why doesn't it just pop up in your face like, hey, pick a sigil before you start the game? The way leagues does.
Yeah.
Instead, Deadman's a little weird. Like, it's a little bit awkward at the start. Like, hey,
and then you have to
had people asking in the chat over and over and over, how do I pick my starter sigil? Where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? This kind of thing is not good for new players. Like, hiding stuff in menus that should be,
as a new player, I was so
obvious.
confused.
Some other little things. There is a minimum risk to enter raids. You need at least 800k risk to enter raids. By the way, people were just gaming this with inflated GE value items, so it had no purpose whatsoever. Completely, utterly pointless. But yeah, you just would be like, oh, I can't enter raids. You can't peek things that have a peek option. So things like a Raxor.
You couldn't.
Willy bosses, whatever. All the peek options are
curious
disabled,
what he says about
which is
this.
just kind of confusing. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but like, how would you know this? I almost died in a fight because I accidentally pulled out a bunch of overloads, and I went, oh, I'm getting hit. I'm at a bank. Let me try to bank those quick. So I go in the bank and I click the overloads, and nothing is happening. And I'm like, okay, it's a dead click. I click again. I click again. I click again. Nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Oh. If you're in a fight, you can't bank items over 10k.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to know that? You'll figure it out by dying.
Oh, yes, you will. Yes, you will. And boy, did I, bro. When I died to that, bro, I think it was off stream. I was so pissed. I was like, bank it, bank it, bank it. Dude, bank it. Oh my God, bank it. And then I die. And I'm like, what the F is happening? I think I was thieving off stream and Varlam were thieving. And I was like so pissed. And then I read my stupid little chat box and it's like, can't bank items, blah, 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 when PvP is happening. But I didn't know that because every other time I tried to bank stuff when I was being hit, it always worked because I didn't have stuff over 100,000 gold, right? But the moment you have something over 100,000 gold, surprise, you can't bank it anymore.
The sigil shop, which I think was new this time, basically you buy all the sigils with points. I think they've been a drop before from monsters. So now you buy all the sigils. That menu is horrendous. At least you can filter.
Why is there no search option?
It is not alphabetical.
It's
the
crazy.
Skulls come in a random variety. I have no clue what the reasoning is for the order on like the different sigils you can buy. The filters are like very haphazard and unuseful. All combat sigils. Do you know how many combat sigils there are? So if I sort by combat, the one I'm looking for is going to take me like 2 minutes to scroll and find. It needs a search function. It needs like 10 more filters. It just needs to be better. It needs to be sorted properly off the bat. Like, it's just confusing.
Yeah, alphabetical sorting at the very least would be great. Because if you're looking at a guide and they're like, get the ability, like Ruthless Ranger, and you're like, okay, Ruthless Ranger. And then you're like, what is that? I don't know if that's a combat sigil or like, okay, let me just scroll down and look for it. And then nothing's alphabetized and you can't even sort by alphabetical.
It's a horrible menu.
Crazy.
And you have the rush of like, oh, Deadman mode just came out. I'm like, let me go get all these things. Oh, the foe guide says get litheness. And then you open the menu and it's like, litheness.
Yeah.
Litheness.
Yes.
No, that's not it.
Yes.
You spend like
and when you have like that hour of peacetime, right, of where you're trying to like min max as much as you can, and you feel like you're under pressure of like getting the most out of your 1 hour of that peace mode, and you're sitting there looking for liveness. It's not good.
You don't want to spend time doing this. And you want to like get the skull, get the sigil. Oh, I gotta go to the next place. I'm trying to beat everybody. I'm 10 minutes of immunity left. Like this is so annoying. Like little stuff like this is so annoying.
I agree with that. I think as a new player going into DMM, luckily I had the factions experience beforehand that helped prep me a little bit for this. But if I didn't, I would have been even more lost than I already was, and boy was I lost. So I agree, catering a little bit more to noobs like me that don't understand. And I had chat. Yeah, bro, if I didn't have chat, man, oh my gosh, I would have been so confused.
In Deadman, there's a skull item that you click on, and that opens this shop. Okay, it's an item that you physically have, and you have to bank it. This can only be used in safe zones. Why is there not a Deadman Leagues menu? Like the Deadman menu? Why doesn't this open everything? Why doesn't this open that chest at the GE? Why doesn't this just sell you the Dorg crossbow?
Yeah, I kind of agree. If you had one guy that's called a Deadman guy that had everything you possibly needed, all like you could get all your stuff back, everything in one man, and he's called something very noticeable like Deadman, something punny or stupid, I don't know. And then you get everything from that guy. That would make it so much easier for onboarding of new players. 100%. Deadman, it's actually kind of great. I actually kind of like it.
I think the casualification of the points
Sam
as well has gone the opposite direction of what they wanted to do as well. Earn Deadman points for just about any activity you can think of. PVM, skilling, completing achievement diaries, combat achievements, completing clue scrolls, you name it. So now little Timmy can open clue scrolls and get points without doing PvP. Isn't that awesome? No, man, no. If you want little Timmy to play the PvP game mode, you want to push him to the slightly more dangerous areas, those breaches, the chaos. You don't want little Timmy getting stomped by people with max risk, but maybe encourage little Timmy to start learning how freezes work, maybe how myth seeds work.
Which one of you in chat is little Timmy?
Myth seeds are a thing you get from doing Legends Quest, which is like 8.
Guys, I'm not little Timmy.
Come on, chat. That's okay.
If you're dumb and you waste your points on stuff that isn't getting freezes unlocked, you're gonna not be able to escape. It's almost impossible. Hope you have entangle sacks, and I hope you know that entangle sacks exist, because otherwise...
Why is he adding me? Did he watch my gameplay? Did he stalk my DMM experience? Bro, how does he know my life story?
I would have streamlined all of this stuff, like get people access to the stuff they need to start doing PvP immediately. And I would have made it so getting points is stacked towards doing more dangerous stuff. Going to Barrows is pretty risky, right? That should give you the most points of most bosses. I really think the attempts to leagueify Deadman just kind of fell flat. This is a PvP game mode, encouraging people to AFK their skills like they would in the leagues, just so that they log in and that they're playing the game, even though they're not interacting with anything that makes the game mode special. It's just not working. It's not capturing people.
I kind of agree with this.
It's not interesting. It's not the play. What they need to do, if they're going to run a game mode like this again, because it's not really capturing people, lean into pushing people to more dangerous situations, fighting each other, that kind of thing. I like the lower risk. I like that there's no bank keys, that kind of thing.
Yes,
but encourage
so
people to
good.
actually go do stuff. Like go do dangerous stuff. Go fight each other. Go.
Look, one of the most fun times I had in the game was when we had a group going through multi, right? That was so much fun. That was my favorite time, and it was one of the most risky times. So I agree with this.
This is a lot of people's first experience with PvP whatsoever. Just make it very obvious how you do things, where to go, what to do, how to get points. They should commit to this being a PvP game mode. And that's crazy to hear from me because I'm the PVMer. They should commit to this being a PvP game mode and stop trying to make it leagues with some PvP enabled. And then if people feel forced to, a lot of people I've seen complaining on Reddit, like, I feel like I'm forced to play Deadman and I don't want to play it. If people feel this way and they don't want to play it and you're just trying to force them to by like making it so, you could do leagues kinda. You could just do raids like you would in a league. Don't do that. Just make it 1 point system. Like, if you have leagues points, you can buy Deadman items. We have this, like, huge disparity in the value of Deadman. The Deadman, like, Void Waker Scroll, I think, is, like, 200 mil, just because no one plays Deadman. So if people feel forced to play the game mode, you do not want apathetic players that are, like, sick of the game. You're going to burn people out.
I think just look, forcing people to play a game mode just for points is ultimately what you want is people to be playing the game for points and for the enjoyment, not just for points. Now you don't want to exclude people from ever playing the game either, and make it to where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for this to come on the GE because there's no way I'm playing this game mode. Obviously not. Your goal is to make it accessible to players, but also enjoyable, not just a grind or a chore to get your points.
The last thing I want to touch on is the issue of swapping that a lot of people have like talked about. Like, swapping is really annoying. The fact that people can just buy gold for Deadman and have a huge advantage over everybody else, like be multiple days ahead of everybody else, have like Gigamax. But realistically, like, I can't think of a single solution Jagex could run that fixes that problem. It's a PvP game mode. You have to be able to take items from people. Like, it just kind of is what it is, unfortunately. I honestly think the best thing they can do to mitigate the issue with people being super stacked is just give more, like, broadly give the ability to like escape, like make it more obvious how you're supposed to do that kind of thing. So at least like you don't feel like you're getting destroyed and there's no way of getting away. A lot of people don't know that, like, if you freeze someone and go under them, you can log out, that kind of thing. So like making that a little more obvious, I think, is the best thing they could do.
I pretty much agree with 80%, 90% of that No Monkey video. You know, if noobs were like me, I think they would probably enjoy the things I also enjoyed. So if you did incentivize noobs being in more riskier areas, like Nem was saying, I think it would definitely improve people's enjoyment, and make it more rewarding to be in riskier scenarios than just skilling or questing or whatever. I think it would be better for the game mode itself. Skill gap in OSRS from a noob to average PKer in OSRS is so large compared to a tab target game like WoW that noobs will not invest the amount of time that would be needed to at least average at PKing. I think I agree, but you could still give people a chance to escape, right? And as a noob, there is a pretty good option to escape if you know how to freeze, you know? If Jagex came to me and said, Triumphant, what really incentivized you to play and enjoy DMM? I would highlight these three things. These three things is what I would specify Jagex incentivizing for the noobs. Because even if I'm not killing guys, which I was not killing guys, I think if they made it to where everybody had like maybe these randomized groups or something, or an easier way to get groups for multis without being a part of a streamer's chat or something like that, I think it could bring people together better. 2, the breach points they already fixed, which is lovely. I love that. And then 3, the risk, bro. Being in a world where I could always get PK'd, that it gave me like this high, this adrenaline that I loved. If I got points for going into risky scenarios and just trying to be like a little rat and live, I would love it. Knowing that I can't PK well and kill some of these guys that are dunking on me, but if I can just freeze somebody and run around and survive and live, maybe like a King of the Hill kind of vibe, where as long as you stay on the hill, you get points. Bro, I would love that. I would love that. So putting an increased risk and getting rewards, getting point rewards from the risk, I think would add a lot of enjoyment to it. All right, that's it. I think that's my overall thoughts on it.